You're going to get fired. You're going to be in so much trouble.
Yes, I want the Maserati. Yes, I won the Academy Award. I wanted it when I was 12, and I still want it to this day.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Dev Show. Now, you've seen or heard a phone call with Carol Burnett, and this was amazing. It was a great experience, and I'm not done with that series. So today, you're going to be listening to and watching me hold the phone while I'm talking to Connie Francis. Connie Francis is a legend. Now, I am also testing some things out with the lighting situation. It's not appearing to be the greatest, and I'm also framed differently. I'm just testing a lot of different things out.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Connie. How are you?
Today? Fine. How are you?
I'm doing well.
It's so great
Good.
that you
Decided to join me. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I wanted to tell you a little bit about my show and what we do before we get started, just so you know. So I'm 17, and I decided to reach out to different actors and singers from all kinds of careers. I talked with Carol Burnett and Ed Asner. So just really trying to reach out to people who have a story to tell, and I wanted to hear your story directly from you and get some advice that you would have for the youth or some aspiring singers of today. Then I have some other questions I'd ask as well.
You're 17 years old?
Yes, yeah, I'm 17.
Congratulations. It's wonderful.
Thank you. That's the kind of unique part about it, is that my age, and not a lot of people my age are doing stuff like this, right?
I didn't know that.
Do you think you'd be able to tell me a little bit about how you got started in music?
Well, it was really my father's, was a stage father. And he had me taking accordion lessons at the age of 3. And I gave my first concert at the age of 4, playing the accordion and singing O Sole Mio in Italian and Anchors Away. And that was my first concert at the age of 4.
Wow. You said you were singing in Italian, and I heard that you've sang in quite a few languages. How many languages did you know how to sing?
12.
12 languages?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Did you have an idol? Someone that you looked up to when you were a little girl?
Yes, Judy Garland.
Awesome. Did you have a favorite song that you've ever recorded?
I think Mama was the song that meant the most to more people around the world than anything I've ever recorded. You must do a lot of research, Devin.
There is a lot of research. I have a paper in front of me with a lot of the research that I've done. And it's very interesting doing the research and learning these things. You had mentioned that your father was a stage father, and what was that like at a young age, being on the go and on stage? Did you love it, or were you doing it more so for your father?
I was doing it for my father, but I also loved it. At 6 months old, I was singing.
Oh.
And my first words were radio. After Mama and Daddy, my first words were radio. I wanted to hear music all the time at 6 months of age.
And you did pretty well in that department, didn't you?
I did fairly well.
So I was wondering, when I go online and I see how many records you sold and how successful you were in the era of Elvis Presley, I was just curious if you ever exchanged any words with Elvis.
Well, there was not exactly exchanged words, but as a matter of fact, when Elvis was doing his movies at MGM, I was doing my movies too, and the fact that we never met was amazing. But one night in Las Vegas, he and his Memphis Mafia, they were called, came to my show, and they were sitting ringside, and they seemed to be enjoying the show. And when I got to the song Mama, Elvis started crying, and he ran out of the theater. And the next day, he sent me 24 yellow roses with a note of apology that the song touched him so much because he had just lost his mother.
How did that make you feel when you received that?
Wonderful. It was a wonderful feeling.
I want to talk a little bit about your movie career as well, because you'd mentioned that you had filmed with MGM. What do you think when you look back on your movie career? What do you think?
I hated the movies.
I had read that.
After Where the Boys Are, it was downhill all the way. I did 4 horrendous movies for MGM, and when they're shown on television, I make sure that I don't tune in.
Yeah, I had seen you did an interview, and you expressed how you wish you could burn all of the movies that you were in.
Right. Exactly.
Do you have any good memories of doing the movies? Anything that...
Oh, I enjoyed doing the movies, but they were just so horrendous.
Right. That's fair. I also want to talk a little bit about traveling, because you traveled the world, and I wanted to know what your favorite places to see were through your travels, because I also want to travel, and I like hearing where other people have enjoyed seeing. So what did you enjoy?
Second to none, Italy.
Italy?
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of good things
Italy
about
is
Italy.
the most beautiful country in the world. And it's
When
not
did you-
just because I'm Italian.
Where I live in Niagara Falls, I live in Niagara Falls, Canada. A lot of people in Niagara Falls are from Italy and go back and forth to Italy, and I have a few friends in Sicily, so it's definitely on my
list of places
your
that I
bucket
want
list.
to see.
oh yeah, on my bucket list. How old were you when you first visited Italy?
I was 21.
21?
And I'll never forget, I felt as if I were coming home.
So it was sad when you left.
They couldn't get me to leave.
Oh, no?
My manager and my mother and father had to fly to Italy to take me home because I missed 2 important engagements, and I never did that. But I just didn't want to leave Italy.
Yeah. Are there any other places that I should keep in mind?
Hawaii. I love Hawaii. I think that's the second most beautiful place next to Italy. And Lake Tahoe is gorgeous.
All right, right on. Awesome. Are there any places that you haven't seen that you'd still like to see?
China and India.
China, India. And what attracts you to those places?
Well, they're interesting places, and the fact that my records sold so many records there, made it very interesting for me. But I just wanted to taste the culture there, and I never got to do that. You know, they make more movies in India than they make in the United States every year.
Yeah, Bollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. And out of curiosity, have you seen the Niagara Falls?
Have I seen Niagara Falls?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I did a television special up there. Yes, I loved it. It's beautiful.
I heard that you now live in Florida, right?
I love Florida. I'd rather live no other place.
So what attracted you to move from New Jersey to Florida?
Well, I actually, with the movie Where the Boys Are, I actually put Fort Lauderdale on the map. So I felt an affinity for Florida, but I always looked forward to coming to Florida in the throes of winter. And I would get off the plane, and I would book myself in Florida in the winter time, because you get off the plane and arrive in this balmy, gorgeous weather like no other. And every day is summer here. Not the past few months. It's been raining the past 3 months, but otherwise every day is summer here. I love it.
So not a big snow fan then? I mean, I know it snows a lot in Jersey, right?
It snows a lot in Jersey.
Yeah.
Not a big snow fan, no.
It's the same up here in Niagara. We get snow 6 months out of the year, so I might consider moving down there myself.
Not a bad idea.
Then I wanted to ask about venues. Are there any venues that stick out in your memory?
Vietnam, my experience in Vietnam, entertaining our troops, was by far the most incredible experience of my life.
It must have been a moving experience.
Yes, it was. I never felt more needed in my life.
How was it received when you were in Vietnam?
They were wonderful.
Yeah.
In the midst of war, they were wonderful. I was opposed to the war, but I didn't mention that publicly for political reasons. But certainly, I'm glad that I went to Vietnam to entertain our troops, and I wish that more people had.
So I know that you did a lot of work with veterans and for veteran awareness and for the success of veterans in America post-war. How has that journey helped guide you through these years of your life?
Well, I always was very conscious of the troops, and my father instilled that on me when I was 10 years old. He would drive me within any distance of my house to any veterans hospital where I would perform, and I would sing and play my accordion for the recovering veterans. And I was always very conscious of our need to support our troops.
I know that it's been hard through COVID, especially because we haven't been able to do anything. But recently, what have you been working on?
Well, before COVID, whatever veterans function I was invited to, I appeared at. On Memorial Day, on Veterans Day, I did a special a telethon in 2011 for our troops suffering from PTSD and traumatic brain injuries.
Wow. So, thanks you for talking about that with me. I did want to talk about that. And if you had a message for the younger generation about supporting our veterans, what would you say to them?
We owe them our lives. And I think that anyone that devotes himself to service deserves to be treated a lot better than they are.
Absolutely. How has your relationship with your fans persisted through the years?
My fans are my closest friends. People who started out as fans are now my closest friends. In fact, one is visiting me for 3 months right now. He started out as a fan and it became a friend. And they've been loyal throughout the years, like no other fans I've ever known other people to have.
That is a priceless thing that you can have.
It is priceless.
And before we wrap up, Connie, I wanted to hear right from you what you would say to that 3-year-old girl, that 4-year-old girl, girls of any age that are aspiring to do something remotely like what you did. What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, you have to have a lot of ambition. And you have to be able to take rejection, because you're going to hear a lot of rejection before you hear any approval. And you have to be able to withstand that. And it's not easy. And your chances of success are not very good. So you have to be able to take disappointment too. Because once you've been in show business as a young person, to not be able to do that through your whole life is very disappointing. Because there's nothing that can compare to it.
Thank you so much for joining me and giving me this insight. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
My pleasure, Devin. Good luck with your show.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been such a journey, and being able to speak to people like you is what inspires me, and we're trying to inspire younger audiences. So yeah, it does mean a lot to me. I'll let you go now, but I hope you have a good rest of your year.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
All right, Connie, it was nice talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that was a phone call with Connie Francis. That was amazing. Very inspiring. A lot of good messages, values, and things that you have to consider when you live in today's society, when you want to become a singer, supporting troops and veterans. And her experiences in Vietnam really touched me. Thanks for watching this episode of The Dev Show. Thanks for watching this episode of A Phone Call With. And I'm excited, super excited to announce that the next episode of A Phone Call With is A Phone Call with Brenda Lee. You know Brenda Lee as the Christmas Carol Queen. She sings Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. You guys know it. Home Alone. As well as so many other songs. I'm Drinking My Timmies. I can't wait to bring that to you as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you took something out of it. Make sure you check out some of our other videos. Like I said, we talked to Carol Burnett, Ed Asner, Michael Dante, Mitchell Ryan, Lois Lowry. So many amazing, amazing people that you can learn from. And you can also check out my documentary, Persist, Pursue, and Carry On. That's a documentary speaking with veteran actors, actresses, baseball players, singers, veterans. World War II veteran, Ashley Bryan. So without anything else being said, my name's Dev. This is The Dev Show. This has been a phone call with Connie Francis, and I'm out.